Another one under time. You can tell I have all overachievers in this group. Although here's the biggest overachiever ever. Yeah, you got your presentation to me first, your teacher's pet. All right. She did. Okay. There you go, the mistress of delegation, right? Okay, everybody, welcome. Heather DeGaetano, Managing Director at Causeway. Here she is.
All right, I have to admit that I was driving in from Memphis yesterday, and I was listening. Do you guys listen to The Hidden Brain? Do you know this podcast? I'm like the spokesperson for The Hidden Brain. It's the coolest thing you've ever heard in your life. And this guy was talking about how students pick the sort of psychological decision making for how students pick which classes they go to. And at the university where he teaches, for the first week, students can go to any classes they want and like check out the first lecture. And if they don't like it, they just go find another one. And I thought, now I feel a lot of pressure for doing this today in 5 minutes. I think it was Harvard though, so anyway, or Princeton, something like that. Okay, so here we go. So they said we should start with who we are, and I find that to be a very difficult question to answer. When I've had people introduce me, the things they say most are that I'm a recovering attorney. I no longer actually practice because I work for nonprofits, and that I'm currently a nonprofit management nerd. I've heard those things said about me a lot. I think those are good things. We'll see. But I am, when I introduce myself, I typically say I'm passionate about three things. I'm passionate about my family. I have the coolest kid in the entire world. And I have a really cool husband too. So they're here, and he's a lawyer here. He's not recovering. He's just actually a lawyer. The kind that goes to courts. If you need one, he can help. I also say that I'm pretty passionate about my career in philanthropy. I've been doing this kind of work for about 15 years now, and I really, really love it. And I think I've worked with so many of you that it's really pretty great to be standing here in this community of people. So I'm passionate about that. And then I tend to be very passionate about community service work that impacts women and girls. So that has been a big piece of what I've been doing too. So that's who I am and why I'm here. This afternoon, I plan to talk about collaboration and partnership and as nonprofits working together. I hear people say, you probably hear this too, if you've heard people say that nonprofits don't know how to work together and they would do so much better if they would know what each other's doing and get together and work together, they'd be a lot better off. Raise your hand if you've heard people say that. Okay, did you know that 80% of us are already doing that across this country? I knew that too. But the people who say those things didn't know that. So we're going to look at some of the research and kind of figure out how we can work together better, more effectively, look for some partners you may not have thought of, look for some work you could share that you may not have thought of. A big piece of my career experience has been in collaboration work and partnership work. So there's a gavel and like a scales because this is me many years ago now, walking into a law firm, sitting down and discovering that this was not going to be a good fit for me and my personality. So I started in a law firm, and I kind of realized that collaborative work was really discouraged, which was very different than my law school and college experiences and my earlier jobs. We sat in offices with doors, and we sat by ourselves, kind of heads down, and worked really long hours all the time, and it just generally crushed my soul. So I lasted 18 months, which I really thought was an accomplishment at the time, because on day one I almost left and just walked back out the door. So fast forward a little, I left my law firm and took a pay cut of about 80%, which was a little unnerving at age 26, 27. But I took those experiences from my firm with me, and I left to go become the executive director of a homeless shelter in Nashville serving families with children. And when I got there, I realized that doing crisis work, which many of you do, is kind of all-consuming. And it took over things for quite a while as I figured out how to sort of work in crisis, but also have a life and manage an organization. But I realized at some point that there were 2 shelters in town doing exactly the same thing with exactly the same mission statement. I would look at our website and I'd see our mission statement. I'd look at the other one and I'd see exactly the same mission statement. And I thought, why are we doing this separately? I thought, surely we don't need to pay 2 executive directors to do the same work in the same town for the same people. So let's see. So we figured we could probably do something about it, and it took some work with my board to figure it out, but we eventually merged the 2 organizations and they became one, and it saved a lot of money and a lot of resources. And that was kind of my first exposure to dreaming big about what you could do, and then getting it done with a partner in a way that we couldn't have done things on our own. So that was the first step. So I left my shelter to go work in healthcare, and that, oh, wait a minute, I got to fast forward one. There we go. It's hard to do all of it at once. So I went to go work in healthcare for a vision nonprofit that helped kids get the vision care they needed, eye exams, glasses, surgeries, those kinds of things. And it was really inspiring work. And as I look back on it now, I have a kid with a severe vision problem, and I kind of feel like the universe gave me this job to prepare me for what was coming maybe 10 years later with my daughter. So it was very tangible, very inspiring work, and kind of even more so now. But I kept thinking when I was there, like, again, why are we doing this alone? Vanderbilt does some of this work. The Lions Club does a lot of that work. There's a lot of clinics in town that do discounted work. Why are we not all doing it together? And there, I couldn't get it to happen. I went to Vanderbilt. I went to the Lions Club. Everybody had their own need for their own outcomes. We needed to have our own personal outcomes to get funding, to talk to our boards. And so we really never got ourselves to come together. But I just kept thinking about it, and as I thought, what if you could actually take those vision programs and put them in the homeless shelter, right? What if you could actually sort of turn the consistent model on its head and do some different things? So fast forward a few years. We moved to Nashville. So here is a jellyfish. I ended up at the aquarium as the director of development there, and I landed in a spot where collaboration and partnership and big thinking and ideas and trying new things was not only acceptable, it was encouraged. And I got to do so many really cool things with so many great organizations across the city that really inspired me. And it's kind of why I ended up at Causeway, because I really liked doing that kind of work. So here's our mission statement at Causeway now. At the end of the day, I think what it means is that we work with people all across the city, organizations all across the city, to get things done, to get good things done to make our city a better place for everybody. And I'm really, really proud of some of the statistics that have come out of that, which I'll share with you guys this afternoon. So this is my favorite collaboration from the last year. United Way and Causeway worked together to do Giving Tuesday, the first time it had come to Chattanooga last fall. And we raised, I don't want to get the number wrong, $103,000 for local nonprofits doing great work in our community in 24 hours. And to me, if we can do that in 1 year with 2 organizations that were kind of unlikely partners who've come together and are doing really good work together now, we probably can do just about anything you can think of as a community of nonprofits. So we'll talk about all the numbers, all the statistics, all of the things that are going on nationally, and then I'm going to use a design thinking process that's really truncated to try to get you to think of some new ways to do collaboration and what might work. So come at 2 o'clock. Thank you. Did I go over?
Thank you.